everybody. Welcome to the Speak podcast. Speak, special people encouraging a kid. I am your host, Barisha, for this podcast, and I am so glad to be back with you. Thank you for continuing to tune in, subscribe, like, and sharing this podcast. Well, today is going to be a little bit different. I know you see the t-shirt that I'm wearing. You see a picture frame here and this cup with some pictures on it. I am dedicating this episode to siblings. This is in memory of my brother. Some of you don't know, but on January the 19th of this year, I lost my only sibling, my brother, Will Pitts Jr., and it is very hard. It's devastating. And I wanted to come on live right now sharing with you my feelings. I want to be transparent with you. And that's one thing about Speak Podcast. We want to not only encourage kids, but to also encourage kindness, because this is what we're all about. And we want to come on being as authentic and real as we possibly can. We're not experts. We're not coming on just to say things that we haven't experienced. And we are telling kids, we're telling our children, our youth to do certain things, and we're not doing it. So I want to take this moment, this episode, to just really be transparent and to share with you my heart. Again, my brother, he passed on January the 19th of this year. And my brother had been sick for over 12 years with congestive heart failure and diabetes. And as a man, he took medication, of course, but not always. And just through his life, he just stayed the course. He is a very humble and strong man, and he just lived the best that he could with consideration of what his diagnoses were. But what I love about my brother, and the reason why I'm dedicating this episode to him, is because he and I, we were really close. We're 2 years apart. He's the oldest. And he was like the big brother, the protector. And at one point, he talked about being not just a brother, but he would say, call me daddy brother. He always wanted to just be that big brother and be that protector over me. And I love that so much about him. And we really did have a close relationship. To me, he was like my best friend. And I think I can speak for him saying the same thing, that same sentiment. And what I love about my brother, even with, his sickness and all, he still showed up for people. He still showed up for the family. He still showed up for me as being that big brother, never wanting me to see him hurting. At times I would see, the hurt in his eyes, or sometimes he would cry, to me, but he never really wanted me to know what he was feeling. And so those are some things, the closeness, the relationship that we had, and how we shared secrets, how we shared things with one another. I am going to miss that. I am really hurting. I am grieving, and I am giving myself permission to grieve. And that's what I want to share with you. I want to talk to not just really the children today, not just really our youth, but even adults. If you have a sibling, if you have siblings, make memories, create lasting memories. If there is an ought or a disagreement, if you all have separated for whatever reason, just because of a disagreement or a fight or an argument, make amends. Life is not waiting for us. Life is going to keep on going. And before you know it, one or the other is going to leave. And so you don't want to leave with regrets. You don't want to have guilt in your heart. You don't want to feel like, or even start saying the I wish I could have. I wish I could have, done this. I wish I could have said this. Or even the word love, saying I love you. Try to mend whatever broken pieces you may have with your sibling and make things right and make the wrong right. Change whatever the situation is. If you feel like, hey, there's nothing that we can do, we will never ever have this close, relationship or bond ever again. Maybe for whatever reason, maybe it can't be that way. I don't know, but think about how you're going to feel in your heart when that sibling is gone. And I'm hoping that it's not at the point where you feeling like you want them gone. But think about your sibling as someone who is to be loved, who is deserving of love. And sometimes, I think I spoke about this before, the person, the sibling who you may have an alt with or a disagreement or may feel hatred in your heart, you dislike, sometimes they may not even know the reason why or what caused that separation or what caused the dislike or the discomfort or the hatred in the heart. Sometimes we can hold on to grudges or hold on to anger, hold on to disagreements, and the other person not know. Learn how to forgive. James, the book of James in the Bible talks about be quick to listen and slow to anger. And that's something that I want or wish, you all can do. Again, I am a woman of faith, and at times I am going to talk about my faith. I'm going to talk about my heart, my love for Jesus. And I'm hoping that you can find in your heart to forgive your sibling, forgive the person who you grew up with. If you have a sibling that you didn't grow up with, but you're living maybe in the same city or state, get to know who that person is. Maybe when you were younger, the argument happened, the disagreement happened, and you separated, and now you are an adult and you're living in separate cities and states, or you're living in the same city and state, but you don't know who your sibling is now as an adult. This is the perfect time to learn each other the way you are now. Hold on to those childhood memories, the good ones, and even the ones that disappointed you or made you upset or something happened that you dislike, so that you can talk about it now to tell your sibling, hey, this is the reason why I separated myself. This is the reason why I chose not to, do this or bring you around. Sometimes communication can help. It can heal a wound. It can heal it or help heal the hurt, the what, the hurt in your heart, you know, when you communicate. Sometimes that's all that's needed is a simple communication. If that's hard to do, maybe write a letter. I know texting, the cell phone is the biggest thing going on, and texting is the way to go. Yeah, but sometimes that really just doesn't work because things can get misconstrued within a text message. It may not come across as clear or the way that you had intended for it to come across. You probably meant to say it this way, but the way the person perceived it, the way your sibling read it, wasn't what you intended to say. So sometimes communicating is the way to go. But my brother, he had many words with his actions, not always with with words and communication, but you can tell what he meant, just by the way he moved. My brother was a loving man. He didn't always get things right. He didn't always do things right. Who does, right? But he lived his life doing the things that he believed was the best thing for him. He loved his family. He loved me, his sister, his mom. He loved our dad, our mom. He loved his family. And I can remember just leading up to the time when he transitioned, just being with my brother in the hospital and some of the things that we shared. One of the things that we talked about was my brother told me that he is a new creature, like a new creation in Christ. We, again, are a family of faith. And we talked about that, and I carried on that scripture about what he was saying. And after he transitioned, I realized, wow, did he know? Did he know his time was coming to an end? No one really knows. No one knows the day or the hour. But I believe he found peace. I believe he found peace in his heart because of his diagnosis. There was nothing else that the doctors could do. But for the family, for me as his sister, hoping for the best, hoping and praying for the best, praying and hoping that my brother would come out of the hospital. He will be able to get a heart transplant and live this life, to the fullness. But unfortunately, that didn't happen on this side of heaven. But of course, he is living his life on the other side. And that is with, Jesus. And so I'm grateful about that. I'm grateful for the time that we had. This is him here. I, have his picture and some things that I can just hold on as a memory of my brother, like this hat I'm wearing. This is his brim, his hat that he loved to wear. I get to wear that, and when I put it on my head, I'm thinking about my brother. This T-shirt again, it was made by one of his classmates, Will Charles, and this picture is a representation when my brother, when he was in high school, he played football. In junior high school, which is now called middle school for you guys, but back in our time, it was junior high school. He played football. He always loved playing football. And in high school, he played football. He was a linebacker. And his coach at my brother's 50th birthday party, the high school coach, Coach Cooperwood, came to his party and presented him with a plaque or a picture frame with this picture in it. And this was a thing that the football players did when it got into the fourth quarter. They would raise up their hands. Football players, don't get mad at me because I'm raising up my hand, but they would raise up their hands and they would put up the number 4, meaning they are in the fourth quarter, and Coach Cooperwood would tell them, finish strong. And so on this T-shirt, Coach Cooperwood, you can't see it, but he wrote on here, still strong, finish strong. And it was such a sentimental time for me. And I cherished this picture even until my brother's funeral arrangement. This picture was on his obituary because it represented my brother's fourth quarter of his life. He did finish strong. And that's just how my brother was. He always showed up. He always did things to his best ability. And he wanted to be strong in doing it. He wanted to always show up as strong for me and our mom because that's just the character he had. That was part of his integrity, of the person he was. He was prideful. He was a prideful man, and he wanted to just show up strong for us. So again, this is a dedication. This is a memory of my brother who I love, love, love dearly. I am heartbroken. Yes, I am. Truthfully, I am. I've gone through so many different emotions, and I am giving myself permission to grieve, to go through my feelings. And I am going to talk about grief in one of our other episodes, but I just want you all to know, as siblings, to love one another, to correct the wrong. Life is short. Life is going to keep going. We all have our time when we are going to pass. But you don't want to leave here with any kind of anger in your heart. Whatever it is, forgive and learn how to live. And so this episode, again, is dedicated to my brother, in memory of my brother, and a dedication to siblings, just to love one another, because you may be all that you have. You may be all that you have. So think about that. This is just a podcast that I just really wanted to share my feelings, talk a little bit about what's going on in my life. I know prior to January the 19th, some of the episodes that you all have seen, those episodes were prepared. They were already in our archives that were able to be posted. And actually last Monday, if you notice, if you're following with us, we did not upload a podcast. We didn't have an episode to upload because life happened. I was going through the grieving process, the passing of my brother, and I didn't have, and I say I, but we here at Speak Podcast, we did not have, enough episodes to just even have when life happens. So preparation is always important. My mentors in the podcast world have always shared that with me, to always, have episodes ready, enough so when life happened, because life is going to happen. But I wanted to be transparent with you all and let you know, even in this episode, talking about siblings, talking about my brother, one of the reasons why you didn't see a podcast on last Monday uploaded, that was the reason why. And we don't know what the future holds. We don't know, what may happen again. Life is going to happen again, but we're hoping that we will have enough where we will not keep you hanging. But by grace, thank you for the grace and the patience with us. But we're going to continue to make sure that we have episodes to encourage you, to encourage our kids, to know that, hey, it's okay to feel. Be real to yourself, but don't allow your emotions to lead. Recognize the hurt, recognize the pain, recognize the disagreement that you may have with a sibling so that you can come together and talk about it. Recognize those things and try your best to talk it out, to talk things through, because you don't want to hold or harbor anything that, like unforgiveness or anything like anger, in your heart. You want to be able to release that so that you can live, to live again. This is Speak Podcast, special people encouraging a kid to live again. We're also encouraging kindness. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share. And again, if anyone is struggling with trauma, bullying, or suicidal ideations, considerations, or even attempt, please reach out to someone. You can text a National Crisis Suicide Hotline. You can text 988 and someone will be there to help you, to speak with you, and to lead you to the right places and to the right people. We thank you again. Join us the next time. Bye.